Hey everyone. Today I am doing my first makeup tutorial. I think this is long overdue. Um, Over the years I have many people ask me, how do you do your makeup? So, I'm finally doing it. So, let's get started. I'm going to do it into two parts. Part one being the face and part two being the eyes and lips. And I'm kind of scattered all over today. Usually I'm more prepared with my videos, but I knew I just needed to get on with this because it's past 10 o'clock in the morning and I wanted this to be done and over with by now. And please excuse the mess. We are moving things around the house and reorganizing stuff, so we're kind of in that in-between stage. So please just pretend it's not there. So today for a primer, I'm going to use a BB cream. I really like I'm sorry. When I'm really nervous, my voice box gets, and my throat gets really tight, and then gunk will get in it. So I don't have any allergies. I just have real bad anxiety, and it affects my throat and my voice box. So, really sorry about that. I'm hoping the more I do this, the more my nerves will calm down and I'll get used to it. So, okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is use I'm going to use a BB cream for a primer. And this is this light and medium. They used to have one in fair and light, but I haven't seen it in a long time. And I don't think I've even seen it on Amazon. So, I'm guessing they don't even make that anymore. But I love using a BB cream as a primer because it helps with discoloration. It's also very moisturizing. And BB stands for Beauty Balm. So it's kind of like a skin balm. So it's very, very moisturizing. I always put a little bit down my chin, not necessarily down my neck. And BB creams have skin benefits. So it's like not only you're getting coverage, but you're getting skincare benefits too. I'm going to need a little bit more on my forehead. Wolfie, do you see somebody? Put just a little bit under my brow, not heavy on my lids. Alright. That's done, and you can already tell what good coverage that stuff has. And I absolutely love it. Alright, next thing we're going to do, I'm get a foundation brush. This is a Sonia Kashuk flat top foundation brush. I am using Fit Me in 102. when the weather starts getting warmer, I'll be using the darker shades. Oh, you know what I haven't done yet? My orange concealer by NYX. Let's do that real quick. Okay, I like to get my ring finger. Do it right there. And just pat it in. Just put it where you see any uneven or maybe some blemishes left over. I used to have really bad blemishes right here, but there's still a little like a redness left from where it was. And I also get a little redness here on my nose. Okay, done with that. Now I'm going to take my foundation. I hope our neighbor's dog is not here. In case you were wondering about our chicken, she's just fine. She did get some feathers pulled off of her, but she's just fine. She didn't get hurt or anything. However, we have not seen that dog again. We've had issues with this dog before. Not necessarily on our property, but one day we were coming home and we saw that same dog had another neighbor's dog pinned on the ground. It was just really, really violent. The small dog, and we told our neighbor, the owner of the bigger dog, and she was like, oh, he was just playing. And it's like, it doesn't matter. He apparently doesn't know his own strength and was being rough with the smaller dog. And she was just like, oh, okay. But the man I talked to last week about the same dog, he was very understanding, was very apologetic about his dog attacking our chickens, and we haven't seen the dog outside since. Now, yes, our chickens do roam free, but they roam free on our property. And they do go to our neighbor's house, but she too has chickens and lets her chickens roam around her property. So it's kind of an understanding that when our chickens are on her property and her chickens are on our property, you know, we keep an eye out on them. Um, our chickens stay around us. They don't go veering off somewhere else. But people let their dogs run the neighborhood everywhere. And I know we live out in the country, but if your dog's not trained to not attack other animals or other people, then your dog shouldn't be running around free. I mean, if your dog is friendly to animals and to everybody else, your dog is more than welcome on my property. Because we're huge animal lovers, but we don't tolerate stuff like that. So, anyway, enough about that. Now I'm going to take some concealer to highlight under my eyes, and I'm going to use 2 concealers. I'm going to use Hard Candy Glamouflage. I'm going to show you how I do it. This is a very thick concealer. It's been around for a while, so a lot of you are probably very aware of it. But look. It's pretty thick. Come on, focus. There we go. So I'm going to put just a little bit right there. Put a little bit right there. And then I'm going to take this Ulta concealer. It's called Full Coverage Liquid Concealer Waterproof. And I don't know what shade I am, but I get just about every time the lightest shade. I put just a little bit. Take my beauty blender, and then I just pat it. Now whatever I have left over, I just bring it down right here and on my chin. Okay. And we'll take 2 translucent powders. I'm taking a CoverGirl and this one. I still don't know how to pronounce that. Take a little bit of the CoverGirl. A little bit of the white one. I'm going to pour what's in here into the white. That's what for so it's not just just stark white. I'm going to take into my brush and just kind of mix it a little bit. I'll take a good amount, and I'm just going to set my concealer. And it doesn't have to be this exact white translucent powder. You can use any kind you like. I happened to receive this one from an Ipsy bag a month or two ago. So that's why I'm using it. So far it works good, but any white translucent powder I've used has always worked great. So you can use any kind you like. Okay, now I'm going to take whatever's left on my brush and just kind of there we go. Now there's still a good bit left, but I'm just going to pour it back into the container for future use. Now I'm going to take the same CoverGirl translucent powder, get some in there, get a big fluffy brush, and just set the rest of the face. Now I am using this to set my liquid foundation, and I'm also using it as a canvas for my mineral powder. There's nothing wrong with using just a regular powder if you're not crazy about mineral powders. I know some people have allergic reactions to mineral powders. So if this is what you do and that's it, then that's great. I'm glad it works out. But I like a mineral powder, so that's why I'm using them. So the first thing I do with the mineral powder, I take this one. It's in not translucent. That's the finishing powder. I take a translucent powder in Fair, which is just a couple of shades darker than I am. And I start to do the contour. See a little bit. You can see how it starts to becomes like a base for a deeper bronzer. Take a little bit, go down my jaw. Sometimes if I don't feel like doing a full face of makeup, I'll stop right here and just leave it at that, and I still think it's a very pretty finish. I have just a little bit more. Then we'll go back in here. Okay, now I'm going to take my translucent powder, and I'm going to take this IT Cosmetics. What's this called? I know there's a name on here. Oh, Buffing Mineral Powder. Take my translucent. Take a generous amount, and then I just buff it. So I'm going to take Physicians Formula BB powder, and this is the shade light to medium. Okay, so the blush I have picked out, I'm using MAC, and this is in Warm Soul. It's a very popular one. It's a pretty universal color. Just about anyone could wear this. The blush brush I'm going to use is this IT Cosmetics. It just says powder. It's a little trial size. Forgot where I got it from. Put it right there. I like to set my blush a little bit high, because really my apples are right there. But I'm going to set my blush just a little bit high. Now, because the blush just has a shimmer to it, most people wouldn't put a highlighter on, but I like to be a little extra, so I'm going to put a highlighter on. I am using a Milani blush and Rosa Romantica, and the lid broke, so that's what it looks like. It's a blush, but it's kind of light for me to be a blush, so I use it as a highlighter. like to put it right here, right where the cheekbone kind of meets the eye area. Right in there. And I also like to bring it down to the cheekbone above the apples of the cheeks. And I also like to take a little bit, go down my nose. Right here. And one last step, pretty important. We'll take MAC Prep and Prime and the MAC the Fix Plus. This was in a cherry blossom scent. This was a limited edition, and I was able to get it on sale for like $16, which is pretty good if you know the price of a Fix Plus. So spray that on. Smells wonderful. And what that does, that just sets your makeup. That also gives it a dewy airbrush finish. Okay, so now I'm going to do eyes and lips.